On the last Sunday, March 24th, it was precisely 25 years ago when NATO launched an attack on Yugoslavia. For 3 months, the most powerful alliance in world history rained bombs and grenades on a small and defenseless Balkan country, destroying almost the entire civil infrastructure, including power plants, bridges, factories, office buildings, and also causing the loss of many innocent lives. NATO told lies to justify this attack, just like Great Britain and America would later tell lies to justify the invasion of Iraq 4 years after this incident occurred. I still see Colin Powell standing there at the United Nations with his forged PowerPoint presentation, supposedly displaying weapons of mass destruction to the world. The attack on Yugoslavia, similar to the attack on Iraq, was not authorized by the UN Security Council and was thus, in accordance with international law, an unlawful war of aggression, which NATO solemnly asserts to have faith in, deserving of a sorrowful commemoration this month. However, it is also the disgraceful anniversary of the NATO attack on Libya this month. That took place in 2011 and was just as illegal, criminal, and destructive as the previous attacks on Yugoslavia and Iraq. Just like Yugoslavia and Iraq, Libya did not pose a threat to its neighboring countries, let alone any NATO member state. It was entirely and exclusively an aggression war, carried out solely by NATO and in no way an expression of any self-defense whatsoever. Just like in 1999 in Yugoslavia and in 2002 in Iraq, NATO ruthlessly bombed a poor and essentially defenseless country into oblivion in 2011. Just as the alliance gave criminals free rein in Kosovo in 1999, NATO cleared the way for armed Islamists in Libya. The Libyan insurgents brutally assassinated the Libyan ruler and utilized NATO aerial protection to eliminate tens of thousands of civilians, resulting in an equally dramatic influx of refugees to Europe. The NATO leaders later admitted that their goal in Libya had been regime change, just like in Yugoslavia, and therefore that they had lied when they claimed that the reason for the invasion was humanitarian. Also in March, this time in the year 2004, was the moment when NATO admitted 7 additional member states, thereby increasing the total number of alliance members to 26. The newly established states stretched from the Baltic Sea all the way to the Black Sea, thus forming an anti-Russian line that posed a direct and imminent threat to Russian access to warm water ports. George W. Bush, the butcher of Baghdad, the sinister architect of Guantanamo Bay, gave speeches in Vilnius and Bucharest to emphasize the geopolitical and expansionist nature of this wave of expansion. He said, "Never again Munich, never again Yalta," which he meant that there was no longer a global balance of powers, no longer any coordination between great powers to maintain a fragile equilibrium, but instead just the absolute good, where America, in its disturbed self-image, was the embodiment of, versus the absolute evil, everything that was not America. A life-threatening, childish vision of world politics that has directly resulted in the current war in Ukraine. Yet another war instigated by NATO, and one that continues solely because NATO needs war, not peace, in order to sustain its power and influence. Oh, how future generations of Ukrainians will hate us. For 20 years, the US empire has been stirring up trouble there. In 2004, the CIA organized the first Orange Revolution to overthrow the outcome of the Ukrainian presidential elections and help a man come to power whose wife works in the White House.